So here the AI is saying that we are going on a put, but checks like 45%. That means like it's kind of in between. We don't have like a strong signal, but the signal is still going on a put. So here we go. So now that means like we can connect on our broker and we are predicting like a put. So let's bring our line here. Okay. And that means I'm going to let it run for the next minutes. And that means that now the AI is telling us that the market is more likely to go down. Okay, it's interesting. Here it's kind of funny because we can see that since we got the... Hi guys, welcome to this new video. Today it has been a while since I haven't shot any videos. I was like very busy with like some outside projects, like some infill investment I was doing mostly in Bali. But today I want to restart again, like give some momentum to the YouTube channel. And to release it, I wanted to share with you something which has been asked to me so many times within like the question. Maybe I can give you some screenshot of it. On the Udemy community, like I have like 6,000 students today, along like 4 online courses that I publish. And I got this question like in the community or within the video, like below the video, where people asking me, can you build a AI option trading bot? And today it's exactly what we're gonna do. We are going to build like a AI from the family of machine learning trading bot, which is going to scan the market and give us the best trending decision. Then at the end of this video, maybe I'm going to split this video in 2 parts if that's too long. And at the end of this video, we are going to run it live to see how the robot is taking action live on the market. So before to start, we are going to divide this video in 3 parts. In the first part, we are going to talk about, just to make like a quick reminder of what is option trading. Then we are going to jump on the technology, the type of AI we're gonna use, we're gonna build, and mostly take small divergence to go a little bit more in depth about the mathematical equation behind. And at the end of this video, we're gonna build it and run it lifetime on the market. Right now we are the 29th of October. Like I hope I'm going to finish this bot by the end of the day. And we're going to run it lifetime on the market and to see what is the accuracy of the decision that the bot is giving us. So now if you are ready, we can start with the first part, which will consist of going through the theoretical part. Before going further and start building the robot, let's take a few minutes to locate where option trading is locating in the world of investment and what is option trading for any newbies or beginner in this channel. So in the world of investment, if you want to penetrate or start investing in the market, you have 3 ways. The first one is spot trading. It's like what is Mr. and Mrs. Everybody is going to do. Mr. and Mrs. Everybody is going to buy a stock at a price A and sell it at a price B. The price B can be above or below the price A. It will determine if you made a profit on buying or selling this stock. That's the most trivial approach. Then, a few years later, bank and stock exchange start developing a new ways of trading. It's called futures trading. Futures trading is very similar to what you see before. You buy a stock at a price A and sell it at a price B. The only difference is when you work with futures trading, you are not buying directly the stock, but you're buying a perpetual contract which underlines the value of the stock. What are the advantages? Quickly, 2 advantages. The first one is too long or too short. I'm going to jump back on the concept of shorting. Or second impact is you pay much less fees because instead of buying this stock directly to the market, you just buy a contract with underline this stock, which makes you pay much less fees by contrast of directly buying and holding this stock. And the last possibility to tackle the market, this one is called option trading. In few words, option trading is pretty new concept in the world of finance that was introduced, if I'm not mistaken, in 1978 in the Chicago Stock Exchange. And this concept of trading was inspired by the Greeks. And today, like over the last 50 years, that has been introduced in the world of finance. And let's now start diving a little bit more in depth of what is the concept of option trading. And because that's going to be the bot that we're going to build today is a bot based on option trading. So let's go. So in few words, in option trading, that's going to be the same. You are going to have like a price of an asset. In the world of option trading, we call it strike price. That's the price of your asset. And this price, similarly to what we've seen before, you have two possibilities. The first possibility is to speculate on the rise of the price, which is called a call. You are calling this price, or other opportunity is to do what we do, a put. If you believe that the price is going to crash, you do a put. And now you're gonna tell me, okay, but what the heck? What is the advantage of doing option trading? What are the benefits for me? The benefit is very simple. I'm going to highlight you the benefits in one example. The benefit here is like, let's take whatever, like Nvidia stock. Nvidia stock, you believe the price is going to rise. Okay, like Nvidia stock moving and it's rising. Okay, that's the price of Nvidia stock. Here we're gonna draw a line, which is going to be equal to strike price, to the strike price, which means the price of the asset, plus what we call a premium. Here we go, a premium. And here we have strike price plus premium, okay? And your profit is going to be equal to the price of Nvidia minus the premium. Again, in this image, you feel like there is no sense of trading option. However, if we go in the opposite case, which means like here, like the market starts fluctuating and a big crash happened, like the stock lost like 22% of its value. Okay, the stock lost 20% of the value. Let's go this way. In the case of the price losing 22% of the value, what's going to happen? It's the only thing that you're gonna lose the premium. That means you are going to face a loss of 1.5%, for instance, if the premium is 1.5%. And this premium is going to be determined by some algorithm developed by brokers and based on the volatility of the assets. You have to see it in the same angle as the insurance, you know. For instance, if you are old, sick, with diabetes and different pattern, you are going to pay a price of insurance very high. By contrast, if you are 20 years old, young and healthy, you are going to pay a very small price for insurance. It's exactly the same for premium. For instance, if you trade Coca-Cola, you are going to pay a small price of premium. If you are trading a volatile stock, you are going to pay a high price. And here you can see and you can already feel what is the huge advantage of trading option. Within this video, I'm also going to go and talk about expiry date a little bit later in this video, which is another variable that you have to take into the equation when we talk about option trading. But that's why option trading is very different from the regular way of trading, which means like using a spot trading approach or a future trading approach. It's very different because that's the only way if you want to get this safety net against a big market crash, and you will still keep your profit. Of course, you're paying your premium and you pay fees for getting this option for a certain period of time. However, it's still much more interesting, and that's why when I was telling you in the introduction of this video, that's one of the most performing way of trading and the most profitable way. It's because I really mean it, but that's the most technical and sophisticated. So now today we're just going to develop a strategy based on this asset. So now that we covered like quickly the financial part and we brought back of what is option trading for a beginner, we can continue and we can start like exploring what type of AI we're gonna build to train it and to test it and to trade based on it. So guys, now let's jump back into some AI explanation. Okay, so now that we covered the financial foundation, we can jump to the next part and handing over a little bit step by step into this robot creation. So the bot that we're gonna build is from the family of AI. Before to start going into details about the equation, let's take a little bit of step back and to have a 360 vision about the world of AI. So this bot is in the family of AI, artificial intelligence. I guess mostly today everyone is hearing about AI, like ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on. But the AI is not only about ChatGPT, Gemini, and this new trend. This new trend is going to be classified in the family of LLM. What's interesting is this type of algorithm are based on a text analysis. I'm not gonna go too much into details. If you want, there is like this online course that I created with Hanan Dupuy on which you can jump on and you can have all the information about it. There is another type of AI which is very famous and got more and more famous over the last 10 years. It's called neural network. Neural network, it was developed by Ian LeCun. I'm not gonna make all the history of neural network, but that's replicating the way that the human brain is working. And that's something which require, like, one of the downsides of these techniques and this technique is because they require a lot of data. Like the amount of data that you need in order to get something decent is huge. And the point is, with financial world, the patterns are changing. That means that the neural network will not work. However, the LLM will work really well because the structure and the architecture is very different. And there is a third family, which is a little bit more old school, but it's what have been working for centuries. And when I say centuries, it literally was working for centuries. It's called machine learning. Machine learning is more oriented about mathematics. That's what's interesting with machine learning is because you can approximate the answer through different techniques. And one of the techniques that we are going to cover today within the world of machine learning is logistic regression. In this machine learning family, you have different subcategories. You have, for instance, tree-based model. For some people, maybe you heard about a random forest methodology. It's called tree-based model. Like you are going to work with probability trees and tweak it in order to find out what is the best prediction. And here we are going to work within subcategories called classification model. I already built like a video, like series of 3 videos on how to develop and to launch a bot based on SVM, which is another type of classification, which is another type of classifier. And here we are going to build a bot based on logistic regression. It's one of the most practical and easy to build, and the prediction that has been using over the last years is very, 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 very interesting. And that's exactly what I want to share with you in this video is like, I want to share with you 2 points. It's like how easy it is to implement. And second, it's about the accuracy. You can see that the accuracy is really, really not bad. It's very interesting for any type of retail traders to use this type of technique. So now that you got some cover about the big family of AI and where the logistic regression is located, let's develop a little bit more about logistic regression. Again, I'm going to take a lot of shortcuts. I'm not going to go exactly in depth. If you're interested, I can do it. But for now, I'm not going to go too much in depth because I don't want to bore you. You have a lot of videos about it. I'm going to explain you logistic regression in simple terms that you can handle. And after, if you want to progress, if you want me to build a video about it, I can do that. So, logistic regression, by contrast of linear regression, let's talk about linear regression quick. Linear regression is going to work based on 2 variables. For instance, let's take an example of linear regression. Let's talk about the height of a kid, okay? And here is going to be the height, and here is going to be the age, okay? And when we talk about the height of a kid, we're gonna take a population of kids. Let's say the population of kids in the US. You're gonna have a lot of data points. Based on their age, you're gonna have like different data points, and you're gonna have something which is going to look this way, okay? And what you're gonna notice is that they follow like a straight line that you're gonna quantify through an equation called AX plus B. Here's like going to be B is going to be the average height at age 0, and more the age is advancing, more you're gonna have higher value for the height. Like that's going to be the equation of linear regression. concerning the logistic regression is going to be slightly different. It will not work in the same way as linear regression, but it's going to be a lot of similarities, notably regarding the equation. Okay, so here's the linear regression. And now here today we are going to build like a machine learning model, which is going to be based on logistic regression. Logistic regression is going to work through regimes, okay? Regimes that we're gonna quantify with the probabilities, like here is going to be like the 50% probabilities axis, okay? And essentially here we are going to have like on this axis like the variable that you want to test. For instance, here we can consider, for instance, like RSI as a variable. We are going to use RSI. I'm going to give you the list of variables that I'm going to use for this bot later, but you can extend it. Here, for instance, let's take RSI value. Essentially, here is going to be your probability of success. And what we are going to do here is like for every point of the RSI, we are going to, okay, let's bring it in blue. Okay, in red. For every point of the RSI, we're either going to classify it as successful or not successful. Let's say when RSI value is equal to 70 and the market went down, we're gonna classify it as unsuccessful. When the RSI value is 35, it went down as unsuccessful. Here on the axis, like when RSI value is equal to 75, successful, successful. And how it's going to look like at the end, you're gonna have like different points of the value of the RSI. Some of them means that the market went up after, like that's all the successful point, and on this axis that's going to be all the different unsuccessful points. It's going to look this way. Sometimes you have some outliers, but it's going to look this way, okay? And based on this distribution, what we are going to do, the algorithm is going to draw a line with a S shape, which will help you that when you get a value of RSI, what is the probability of success and what is your probability of default. And for every point that we have here, we are going to draw a tangent with this equation. This tangent is going to have this equation for every data point. Here I'm going to give the equation of this data point, okay? This RSI data point, and the equation is going to be 1 plus exponential of b1 x plus b0. So, and here, for instance, you can find back again the equation of the linear regression. However, here we are going to develop it through S shape, and we are going to build this model through different dimensions. Here we have it for the RSI, but more you have variable, more you classify, more you complexify the S shape. You are going to create like another axis for instance, your distance with the moving average. Okay, that's one example. You are going to have like another S shape. Okay, and after that, like you are going to link all the points, and each time you are going to get like a new data point, a new situation, you are going to classify it, and you're going to get a score between 0 to 100. If you want to be very sharp in trading, usually in trading we say whatever is above 80%, that means we have like a huge probability that the market gonna go up. Or if we are like below 20%, that means we have huge probability that the market is going to crash down, okay? And that's exactly what we will do right now. However, just for the example today, we're gonna use 50% as a threshold, and what is below 50% is going to be classified as a put, and what is above is going to be classified as a call. But that's all what you need to know if you want to understand the logic behind logistic regression. And that's exactly what we're gonna test against the market and to see how the market is going to react. Okay guys, so now that we covered the theoretical part, let's start and let's jump into this trading bot. Okay, so now that we covered all the theoretical foundation, we can jump to the next part, which will consist of building this robot. To build this robot, the first step that any data scientist knows and have to handle is building the data model. What is nice for an algorithmic trader, the data model is, in most of the case, always the same. First, you bring the market data. Here I'm going to call it MD, market data. Once you get the market data, you build your algorithm, okay? And then you take your decision, you send your decision. 3 steps. However, each step are going to require some sub-steps. When we talk about getting market data, of course, before anything, we're gonna need some preliminary steps, PS, preliminary steps, such as importing libraries and some micro steps that we need in order to prepare our laptop to be able to build this robot. And if we exclude the preliminary steps, the first step will consist of importing market data. Importing market data is going to be very simple. You are going to get like a request and that's all. No other step, which is going to be more complicated. Regarding the algorithm building, AB, algorithm building. Regarding the logic that you're going to build, it's going to require some steps. So once you get the market data, we're going to start by bringing all the indicators that are relevant for us, for our analysis. So before to get this list, we have just, let's go a little bit on all the steps. Once we get this data plus indicators, we're going to bring the buying logic. And in this case, the buying logic is going to be divided in 2 steps. A first step on which we are going to train our model, and another part on which we're going to build the model based on this trading test, and the last part, which will consist of running the model. Okay, and once we build this model and we write down like all the logic, we are going to determine our criterion of satisfaction, which means above how many % of significance should we buy. Here, because I just want to get some action today, we are going to use a 50-50 approach in order to get the logic, which means if we are above 50%, we go for a call, and if we are above, we go for a put, nothing more. In real case, you can extend and get more safety, but it's just for the example and to see how the bot is going to react in lifetime. So here we go, and once we get that, the last step is going to be the choice of release. Here I'm going to choose to release it on my notebook. However, in the choice of release, sometimes you can build like a system to send it on Telegram and on your broker, to send it directly on your broker, to take action, whatever. But that's going to be like sending signal. So the data model is going to be with more granularity, with more focus. It's going to look like that. Getting market data, variable, market data, variable, AI logic, then criterion of action, CA, criterion of action, then sending signal. It's very simple, very straightforward. It's exactly like a human would act. A human would take the market data, which will watch the graph. Once he gets the market data, he adds his indicator that he's using. It's exactly what we're going to do here, bringing the variable, which is going to mean bringing the RSI, moving average, all the indicators that we need. We're going to bring all these indicators within the AI, and the AI is going to say, okay, should I want to go when I'm very, very sure, or like should I just want to go when I'm above 50%, like I just want to go in one direction, for example. It's exactly what we're going to do here, and once we determine all of that, we send a signal. That's all. Okay, so now that we got our data model, we have to start with the first step, which is getting market data. For the case of getting market data, you have different options. Let's say, for instance, let's take an example, like a very stupid example. For instance, if you want to get any type of market data, it's very easy. You import Y finance as YF, and you type yf.download, and you get your information. For instance, here it can be Tesla. Okay. Up. Okay, boom. Here you got the data for Tesla. Amazing. So once you got the data for Tesla, you can choose any type of stock. However, here in our case, it's going to be slightly different. We don't want the data for a stock, and mostly because we want to act and to send like a real trading decision. Yahoo Finance is not the best and the most reliable source of data. So what I did, I asked ChatGPT. Let's ask together. Okay, I'm going to ask like a good granularity and quality of data and a price below, let's say, which is not insanely high, like no more than 1,000 per month. Let's see. Because here, if we take a look at our data model, that's the most important part is getting market data. After here is going to be architecture, but that's the starting point. Let's see what ChatGPT have said. Okay, so, and I kind of agree with them. The first and most reliable source right now on the market, if we talk about price and quality of data, is ThetaData. That's exactly what I'm going to run today. I'm going to run with them. That's the one that I've been using over the last year. Essentially, I have different options, but from my perspective, that's the best. Okay, so ChatGPT made the choice. Like you have different options. If you take a look, like ORAT like $400 per month. Data Bento is like $200 per month. Here we have the first model at $40 per month. So for option data, even for me, I believe that's the best. You can also play with the data of the broker, but sometimes you have some leakage, some issue. But okay, so now I'm going to work with ThetaData. ThetaData, roughly, if we go on their website, that's how it looks. And how to get the data, we have to go into the documentation. So to go into the documentation, okay, that means we need to install a terminal. Okay, let's make it quick how to install a terminal. So if we go back in our model, that means on top of importing the right libraries, we're gonna have to create a terminal. Okay, create terminal. Okay, so that's exactly what we need to do in preliminary step, and that's exactly how a data scientist have to think. Data scientists have to think exactly in this way. Like write down all the steps you need to do before, then the plan of action. Okay, so once we did this step, we're gonna be able to act and start getting our data and checking this first part. Let's start with the notebook. Of course, I already prepared the notebook. Here we go. I write down all the libraries we're gonna need. No worries, don't think about it. By the way, if you need this notebook, you can just text me on LinkedIn and I can send you the notebook. I will write down my LinkedIn somewhere and you can just text me and I will send you the notebook. Okay, good. Okay, 3 steps. First step, you install Theta Terminal version 3. You install Java. Okay, I'm doing it lifetime, I'm doing it kind of with you. I already prepared, of course, but I'm kind of doing it with you. So hopefully, like, no bug or anything. Okay, yalla, good. Okay, Let's run. We are going to run, but we're gonna get like an error because I already tested earlier. No credential. Of course, if we go within the documentation, as you can see here, we are required to create a file called cred.txt. Let's copy and paste, and let's create this file. On Google Colab, easy, new file, credential.txt. And what you're gonna do here, you are going to type here, I'm going to type my email address. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to type my password. Okay, so once you write down your credential, like your login and your password, save it, and now re-execute. Let's close this window. Okay, let's stop. Let's rerun. Okay, perfect. Theta terminal is running. Amazing. So now that it's running, we're just gonna make a quick test just to check the price of Apple. Okay, perfect. We're just gonna compare with TradingView. Okay. Or let's check the price of Nvidia. It's gonna be quicker. I already have it open. Okay. Okay, if you take a look at Nvidia, the price is boom, symbol open, high, low, close. The closing price 205.3. Boom, 205.3. Amazing. Okay, that's exactly the price of Nvidia. Okay, perfect. After like here we just like download market data. Okay, how did I got the script? You just go here, you go in the REST API, stock, tech, history or snapshot, whatever. But for us, what's going to be interesting for us is the concept of getting data for option. So we're gonna take like a snapshot, open, high, low, close, or you want it at times, the trade, the quotes, you take exactly what you want. Here I'm going to give you an example. We are going to use and to get, let's go for Nvidia. Nvidia is very volatile, so it's very interesting. And here, as I talked to you about, like I talked to you about very slightly, you need to write down an expiration date, okay? Because like any type of contract, you have an expiration date. The point that you have to be aware is like once the expiration date ended, you cannot trade again. Like either you are in the market and you sell it, or you are out of the market. So either you are in the money and you make profit, or you are out of the money and you lose it. Quick, like just to remember quickly, how it works. If you remember, like I was explaining you about option trading, that if the price crash, you are losing money. However, if after 2-3 months the price go up, you are still profitable, because if you go on a call, boom, you are making money. However, if you take a contract date, an expiry date, which is, let's say 2 weeks, you are going to be on a loss. However, if you take a contract date of 6 months, you are going to make profits. But the point is, more you take a long or late contract date, more expensive is going to be the price of the contract. Okay, so now that we got back to the explanation, let's get back to the data model. Okay, so here we go. Here's going to be the expiration date. Here I selected a star to get everything. Star for anyone who do programming on SQL, on SQL, is like that means all. If you want like specific date, here we go. We can select 14th of November. It's going to be a Friday. Just remember that the expiration date are always on a Friday. Okay. So here we go. And here we got all the data for Nvidia, all the different contracts at different time, call, put, and so on. Okay. So as we can see here, we are able to get the data. So now if we go back to our data model, first point is checked. Okay. We did the preliminary step. We have two. Importing libraries, creating terminal, and now we imported the data. Now the next step is going to consist of creating this algorithm. It was two choices. I was even offering you to develop it at the same pace as you, one by one, but otherwise the video is going to be a little bit long. So I just gonna go with you piece by piece of the code that I built just to explain you. And yeah. Okay, so just before to simplify it, I created like, instead of having these big lines of code in order to get the data, I just created a function that each time that we bring the symbol, we're gonna get the data. Okay, very quick. We just need to bring the symbol inside and we're gonna get the data. Here's the Slack function to get the data. Here's the function of today, and here is the function that interests us. It's called predict next minutes. Predict next minutes, and the predict next minutes is going to be the engine of the AI. Okay, and how does it articulate? First of all, we creating all the features. Here I choose as a variable to bring within my logistic regression RSI 14, ROC 5, ROC 20, moving average 20, deviation, which means like the angle, and the volume 20, like what is the percentage of change out of the last 20 period. Here are the features. So as I explained you, first step, we're creating the features. Once I created the features, we are going to have two axes. If you remember what we covered on the part regarding the logistic regression, we covered it this way. Here is like the probability, the success, like are we successful or not. Here that's going to be the y-axis. What is the result? Does the market went up or down the next candle? And here on this axis, we had the variable. The variable is also called in the machine learning model the features. Okay? So, and here is going to be the x-axis. That's exactly what we need to define before to start. What is our y-axis? Y-axis is the shift, which means here is like how many percent change we have if the shift is positive or negative. Okay? And here on the x-axis are all the features. Earlier, I explained you that here we are testing the RSI. That's exactly what we are going to do here. We are going to test all the different features here, the RSI, ROC, and we're gonna get all the dimension. And to build your logistic regression model, you just have to type logistic regression, define the number of iteration. You can go to 1 million iteration, but at point of the time it's becoming useless. And you have to just fit it with like your X and your Y. Nothing more. And once you get that, we are going to calculate our P-up. Our P-up is going to be our prediction probability. And we are going to return a call if the P-up is above 0.5. Otherwise, we are going to return a put. Okay? Just to make it clear. And again, here, like if we go back in our model, here that corresponds to the last step of the model. What is the condition of approval? On which condition are we approving, or condition of action? Here we choose 50-50. If you want, you can choose 80-20, 80 you go on a put and 20 you go on a call. Sorry, 80 you go on a call and 20 you go on a put. It was the opposite. Okay, boom. And here we go. Here I'm choosing 50-50 for the example, to don't make it boring. And after, here at the end, I'm just like writing down a function, which is first going to get the market data. And after, once we get the market data, building the model and getting the prediction. Let's execute and let's see what are going to be the different prediction for the next minute of the bot. Okay, I'm going to let it run. Okay, break. I just forgot one thing. Here I choose like 5 minutes candle. We are just going to use 1 minute candle. It's going to be more fast and efficient. Otherwise it's going to take too much time. Let's run it. Okay, So as you can see here, the AI is giving us a recommendation to go on a put. That means like here we have like the recommendation for 48. What does that mean 48? 48, that means that on the axis of prediction, we are like literally in the middle. Well, like, oh, where is it? Okay, it's not here. So 48, that means on the axis of prediction, like when we are like at 100%, that means like high significance and high probability of the market going up. And if we are like below 20, that's like very strong probability that the market gonna go down. 48, that means like, okay, we are predicting the market going to go down, but with slow confidence. But still, we still have a put, again, put at 47. And let's take a look on the market, how the market is acting right now. Okay, so here we go. Let's draw a line right now on the price. Okay, I'm doing it lifetime. So here we go. I'm going to let it run for a little bit, for a small period of time. Yeah, here's like exactly the variable that we use, ROC 9, RSI 14, volume, and SMA, single moving average 20. That's exactly what we did here, and we are going to let it go and see how the bot's going to react and the bot's going to answer. And I will see you in like 10-15 minutes. Okay, guys? We are like a few minutes later now. If you remember, we stopped here. We got the action to go on the put here. If we draw the line now, it's just lifetime, you know, I'm not like changing anything. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's just remove that. Up. Oh, sorry, I have to make it straight. Let's. Boom, okay. Wow, okay. Since we got the prediction here, it was on this candle. Since we got the prediction here, we can see that the market went down by 0.4%. It's very interesting to see like the accuracy. Of course, it's not perfect. And here, what I gave you here, it's just like an example of machine learning algorithm that you can use. I used like 5 features. You can use more features. Again, I can give you like a full recommendation on which feature to use. For me, what I wanted to show you here is like how easy and quick it is to build an AI model. Like nothing more than that. And I just wanted to demystify, you know, this type of like big, you know, like big, like crazy view from people about like AI. You see in few lines, boom, get data, check, bring your features, your variable, your features, build your model, train X and Y axis, get your condition of action, and send signal. Nothing more than that. Yeah, anyway, it was just a quick example here of the market. I choose NVIDIA because NVIDIA is moving fast. And again, if you take a look, wow, the market is still crashing. So the prediction was not that much bad, you know, if you take a look at it. Okay, it's getting even more down. It's not that bad if you take a look at it. Like for me, I believe it's very interesting. It's very interesting, and yeah, it was just like a quick video for me to also to like just create like a new momentum and give you some tools, because that's a tool that I'm using in my analysis, is like getting this robot who's going to like hunt the market and getting, okay, what's the point of view of the bots, what is like the most probabilities, it's like most is there more chance that the market go up or down, and so on. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this small bot. So I really hope you enjoyed it. For me, it was very fun to build. If you need the code, I'm going to bring my LinkedIn below the video. You can just like write me down a message, and I will send you my Jupyter notebook. You can use it at home and have fun with it. Okay, guys, see you, and see you soon.